Hey, bonjour, tanse, zongebenesi and tishnakas kinutotem. I just want to raise my hands up and say hi to the thousands of people over the decades that have been advocating for the release of American Indian movement activist Leonard Pelletier. He finally gets to go home today after a last-minute clemency granted by outgoing President Joe Biden. So thanks, Joe. And, thanks to whatever strategist decided to drop this right at the start of President Trump's inauguration. Just a really nice little stab. It definitely made me feel good. I played the Nipsey Hussle song, Fuck Donald Trump, on my post about Uncle Leonard getting to go home. He will have to be under house arrest. But that's pretty cool, man. Um, Leonard Pelletier, that campaign, that issue has always been a really complicated one in the in the circles of elite campaigners across the planet. And I was told by my teachers to leave that issue alone, to not speak to it. My teachers from the lower 48. But you grow up in Canada, and you grow up one of the first, before you even aim, you hear the story of Auntie May, Anna May Aquash, and I know a lot of members of her family, from out east. And I just want to raise my hands as well. They just came out with a movie about Anna May, and that family still has not received justice. There is a lot of people who think Leonard Pelletier was a part of her death. But those are real fucked up times, man, for sure. And who knows, what the real truth is. All I know, though, is that growing up in my life, it's really troubled me, the cross cutting of what they call institutionalized thinking, especially like jailhouse thinking, and that whole don't snitch, don't tell, kind of bullyish mentality. That's definitely a part of social movements when you get to the ultra left. Is this don't snitch culture, which I totally understand and respect. I definitely support diversity of tactics. And I also recognize that people are in different places in terms of threats to their life and their homelands, and that the philosophies of nonviolent direct action and organizing that many embrace in G8 economies is just not fucking applicable in most economies that live with severe police violence and military violence. And, I don't know what I'm going on about here, but I'm just really, really excited about Leonard Pelletier, especially for his family. And my own father, Blair Bucky Pelletier, he's a federal inmate. So this shit hits close to home, not just for me, but for a lot of Native people, who have family members that are incarcerated in the great warehousing of the Indian problem by the settler colonial state of Canada and the United States of America. And, the other thing I wanted to do, just with all the noise happening today with the inauguration of the fascist Donald Trump, and all his billionaire boys club, and all the noise with Uncle Leonard's release, I wanted to name Anna May Aquash, raise my hands up to her warrior spirit, and just to say that, I pray to my spiritual helpers, my spirit helpers, to the great mystery of the universe, that things work out the way that they're meant to. And that, just to say to my aunties and uncles across the American Indian movement, those of you that are still alive, a lot of things, that you've held on to for security culture, and that really put a lot of confusion in the up and coming generations and social movements that still persist to this day. And this issue has been super fucking divisive. And I've felt really, I've had a chip on my shoulder against, all the AIM chapters, and the fact that none of y'all communicate with each other. The example that you set to the social movement up and comers is not a good one, because y'all hate each other, and it's all been over Uncle Leonard Pelletier and Anna May Aquash and probably some other stuff. But But that's been like a big, blank area for people trying to understand where they come from in terms of resistance. So I hope that for those of you that are left alive, that you find a good way to help us younger people, and youth understand, what lengths this government of the United States of America and this government that they call Canada will go to create division in our communities, to keep us down, to give us the mentality of the oppressed, to quote Paulo Freire, and do something about it. And I'll definitely look forward to contributing to those healing conversations amongst our own people down the road. So anyway, love you all, and I'm really happy for you, Uncle Leonard Pelletier. Really, really happy for you. These times are crazy with the rise of fascism across Mother Earth, to try and stifle the progress that the global climate justice movement has made in terms of keeping fossil fuel in the ground. And they will go to no end of lengths to suppress indigenous collective rights, to suppress land back, to suppress a scaled response to the existential threat of climate change. And, but the great thing about these times is that, I've been around long enough to see these cycles come and go. And, when you don't win one revolution of time, you're always going to get a chance to take another shot. And it's in these times where fascism rears its ugly head that heroes are forged in the fire of resistance and community organizing and power building, base building, where they're awoken, they're born, or they are reawoken. Those of us that have been burnt out a few times, had our asses handed to us by our enemies a few times, maybe been our own worst enemy. Well, those heroes and sheroes are reawoken in these moments. And so I, for one, am really excited that we're starting this battle time, this time to really rise up and organize in the face of Trump. I'm really excited that we're starting this off with Uncle Leonard Pelletier coming home. And there's lots more work to do. But I believe in all of you, and I will see you out in the streets and out on the lands.